by 10, 10 by 15, and 10 by 20 units. And they even have the U-Haul trucks to carry your stuff. You can check them out at cleaningandmorecoleman.com. You can get info at cleaningandmorecoleman.com. Or the way I like, you can dial them up at 256-736-9944. 256-736-9944. Cleaning and More Coleman. County Road 437. Under the big white sign with the U-Hauls.
1295 Coleman's Independent Radio. Y'all, 57 degrees outside. But don't get too used to that because that is not what it's going to be next week. 4:01 and time for the elephant. That's a singular, not plural, in the room. See, a disc jockey can be trained.
Yeah, just quit hitting him. Well, good afternoon. We are here again.
Shall not confirm nor deny any such statement.
Ollie North.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten that one.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, well, have you been keeping up with everything?
No.
Those hearings for, all the nominees.
I know if you're going to take what is it, Hedgepeth?
Yeah.
You better have your notes ready because he will shoot holes in you.
Well, and
Pam Bondi.
Oh, now she's... But here's the thing. I don't know why they bother with that, because all the Democrats are, demanding that this awful person not be, there, and he's going to lead the world to hell and all that. And then all the Republicans are saying, these folks are the finest people that have ever been brought in front of this.
Somebody wrong.
Or
maybe everybody's wrong.
Well, the only reason to watch them, because that's what's going to happen, is for the humor. Because I don't know if you saw it, but Adam Schiff was interrogating Ms. Bondi, and that was actually pretty funny. She has such a way with words. She did not get down in the gutter. She stayed on topic.
If I were Pam, I would have had a longer list of rebuttals. It's like he just kept throwing the questions at her, and she only had 3 or 4 good rebuttals to throw back at him. There's a lot more things she could have thrown at him. So.
I wonder if she's holding that in reserve.
Could be.
Well, I don't know, but I do know that that's what it is. It's character assassination on one side and sainthood on the other. And that's silliness.
This liberal was, I guess, interviewing Hedgepeth, and she said at some
interrogating.
At some point she said to him, "You said somewhere back that no one over the rank of something should do whatever." She said, "What is your response to that?" He said, "I don't have a response. I'm not a general."
That had to do with something about a long walk off a short pier or something. Yeah.
I thought, I think they should have taken Trump through out there first, but it's kind of like, okay, let me give you a chance to deny this one, and then I'm going to put who I really wanted out there.
Well, that may have been what happened, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. And, the next 4 years is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and Melania have developed a more positive view of her. She made the statement to someone that when I was here the first time, I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to expect or what to do.
Kind of like me and the microphones.
Yeah.
I'm only picking y'all up on one channel. I know you've got 2 microphones in there.
Yeah, we do. Sure. Which one are you having difficulty with?
Picking up Richard pretty good, but not Howard.
Oh, I was probably too far away from the mic. Is that better?
I don't know. Keep talking. We'll see.
Okay, well,
all right, we'll get better.
Well, Melania said, I didn't know what was going on the first time. I didn't know what was expected of me. I didn't know how far I could pushed the limits, but I do now, so I will be different.
Okay, definitely picking up 2 channels now. So, Richard, swap mics with the spare one over there.
Oh, okay.
Are you getting your mic today?
Oh, is that because the other one had a little trouble with the...
Well, the other one was the only one picking up, but, I mean, you're definitely coming in better now.
Yeah,
so.
I can hear him now.
Well, I guess that's good.
Now we're a lot better.
Does anybody want to know what I have to say?
Can you hear me all right? Who was that, Brother Bash? Or who was he'd say that, Brother Bashful Brother Oswald? Can you hear me all right? Picking his...
See, I'm not going to say I'm an expert by any means, but I just picture if I had an intern back here, they'd be out of hair by now. They would have pulled all their hair out going, what is going on here?
Well, yeah, that's the way. Well, that's what internships are for, is to get.
I mean, I thought honestly, I was picking up that heater better than I was picking.
Yeah, probably so.
Okay, resume the show now that it's fixed.
Okay, well, I thought that this week we don't have to go over all of those hearings and stuff because everybody knows. That was all pre-done. It's
kind of like one simple question: who has the majority?
Right, and that's what it's boiled down to. And, we are trying so hard to get away from this tribalism. Yeah, right.
Good luck.
And, just watch, because what you're seeing already is the start of the Democrats' scorched earth policy. That's going to get ugly. I thought it was already, but I get the feeling it's going to get worse.
I think they're going to start throwing. Well, as one guy said, wait till they start using live ammunition.
I mean, paint the future for us. What stunts are they going to pull?
They've already pulled a bunch. Any of the nominations. The first thing that we heard about, I guess it was Getz that caught that one, was about sex. Had to do with, problems with sex and drugs. And it's just hypocrisy run rampant.
And they tried that on Hedgepath, too, and they said, well, we're not going to even vote on it until we get the report from the FBI. And the FBI report was as clean as filtered water.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the race card yet. Has Trump not?
Oh, I've heard it. I've heard it from individuals, but not on the radio, television, all of that stuff. But I thought we'd talk about something a little more interesting today, and that is
why don't we?
Well, it is winter. It doesn't seem like it today.
By you, Richard.
Hey, I'm fast. I'm pretty sharp on some things, and cold weather is my least favorite time of year. So, what does it matter whether the temperature is warm or cold?
Well, you're going to use a lot of electricity either way.
So your expenses are not good. Well, actually, your heating expense for a certain number of months out of the year is higher than your cooling.
My heating expense last month was $558.
Mine was a lot better than that. Yeah. It was under 150, I think, something like that.
Y'all walk around wrapped in blankets?
No. We have a super efficient heat pump, and it cost out the but it really has saved us money.
Ours must not be so super efficient. We got one on the bottom floor and one on the second floor.
Oh, well, and you've got a slightly larger house than I do too, don't you?
Well, it's about about 3,500 square feet.
Yeah, it's just under twice the size mine is. Okay, well.
Yeah, but what the question was, what difference does it make from what perspective? Heating?
Well, no, your health.
Yeah.
Getting around.
Yeah.
The roads, when it gets really hot, they don't get slick. You know what I'm saying? You don't run off the road because of the condition of the road.
Yeah, and you were speaking of your health. I'm to the age where every year I have to have a Medicaid-approved audit by my doctor. And one of those audits was a little nurse practitioner said, "Do you have more than one floor in your house?" Yes. And then she looked at me in a straight face and said, "Do you have stairs?" "No, ma'am, we got a rope." And then she looked at me.
I have a fireman's pole in my house.
Yeah, oh, do you? Uh-huh. Yeah, that sounds like fun getting down. How do you get up? But then she said, "Do you have any stairs that don't have rails?"
Well, I know somebody that does.
Really?
Yes. And I keep wondering when they're going to just walk right off there.
Man, I got a rail on both sides of mine.
Well, I wouldn't go up one that didn't have.
Oh, no.
Well,
You got to come down.
I'd like to chime in a little bit on your cold weather discussion, and we've added some of this as kind of public service announcements on the station, but basically, if you have a heat pump versus, for example, gas heat, it's got multiple modes, and if you're trying to raise the temperature more than about 10 degrees, it's going to kick on what they call the money printing mode.
Yeah,
the strip heat.
The heat strips. Yep.
Well, you know, that's one of the nice things about the one I bought is that we looked at the statistics, and on the cold side, you know, because that money printing starts below about 0 or maybe it's 10 degrees, something like that, because it's just too inefficient for the heat pump to work. Yeah. So what ours is good to about -5 or -10.
I don't know, but I also had a guy that installs those. He said if you can get your heat pump up, there was a certain amount of degrees. He said it's not going any higher. He said it'll sit there and it'll spin, but it's not going any higher.
Okay.
So
well,
here's something that I read on the internet, so it must be true, obviously.
Oh, yes.
And I put this into practice here at the radio station, so I don't necessarily disclose where we are or what else is here. But if there is nobody in the building, I will oftentimes run the thermostat down pretty low, lower than most people would want to live. The computers don't mind it being low because they put out their own heat, and that's helpful. We run it down to 55 if we're not here. As far as I know, the heat pump doesn't have to work too hard. I mean, I've got remote access to it on my phone, and it doesn't. The building hardly ever gets to 55, even if it's 20 degrees outside.
Right.
I will say this, and I read this on the internet. If I am bringing it up to normal room temperature, I start about 4 or 5 hours earlier and run it up 2 or 3 degrees at a time. Because if you run it up 10, apparently it will kick the heat strips on.
And that's what that guy was saying. You're not going to get it there.
And that way you are making it as expensive as you possibly can.
It'll get there. It's just you're going to pay for it. And I don't need it to get that high that quickly. So, I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't gotten the power bill yet for, just how intensive that would have been. But, what I read was run it up 2 or 3 degrees at a time, and, it won't use anything beyond just what standard heat would be. So I hope that's the case.
Well, that makes sense. Thanks, Jay. I didn't know that.
It's amazing how you look at things. My wife likes her bedroom warm and cozy.
If it's home, that's a different question.
I like my bedroom about 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so she turns the heat on, and I've got a little air conditioner in my room, and I turn it on.
Well, there's one reason why your power bill is a little high.
That could be a big part of it.
Well, that's one of my favorite pet peeves, and I don't want to get into a lot of detail about what else I do besides play around on the radio. But I have been known to do IT consulting, which means that I'm in and out of quite a few businesses, working on networks and computers and things like that. So most of your commercial buildings have got, let's say it's summertime and it's 98 degrees outside, where they're going to have the building run down to like 65 or 68 or 70. And what do you see? Every employee has got a little space heater at their feet.
Yep.
How efficient is that?
Well, there's more and more of my son is in charge of buildings and all of that from England to wherever. And his policy is get caught with a space heater, finds another job.
Wow.
No space heaters in the buildings.
Well, there needs to be some sort of, if nothing else, maybe they should vote on what the temperature should be.
And how much power? I mean, I could ask, but I'm not sure the power people will give me a straight answer.
No.
But, if I've got a space heater plugged into the wall, and incidentally, there is a space heater plugged into the wall in that room that y'all are in, and it does a good job for that little room, because that room is drafty. But that being said, I mean, how much more? I mean, I'm sure it's more efficient to run that little space heater than to run heat strips for the whole building.
Oh, it's got to be.
I think those things run somewhere around like a blow dryer, I believe, 1,500 watts or something.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a guess. But
I remember that growing up. They had the little, I guess, oil-based heaters, and those things were 1,500 watts. You could turn on the 600 side, or you could turn on the 900 side.
Got one.
And
I've got one too. And
my dad would come back and turn it all the way down to 600, and as soon as he would leave the room, I'd turn it back to 1,500.
Crazy.
So that brings up another question or topic, which is, what happens if there's an overload on the power grid?
They go zip.
Well, and that's something to be concerned about, especially if it's going down to 4 or 5 degrees. Are
you stalking me, Richard? I mean,
no, sir, I wouldn't do that.
I got on a rabbit hole on the internet again. Yeah. This was, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights ago, on, I think it was called Practical Engineering. It's a channel on YouTube, and I must have watched 5 videos about how they balance the power grid and what happens if there's too much supply or too much demand. It's very interesting. And then I went down the rabbit hole even deeper and watched about how we had the big outage across the Northeast back in 2003, and there was another one back in the late 80s that I'd never hear about.
There was a lot of babies born not long after that.
But it was fascinating. I mean, I never knew that really they're having to balance supply and demand with power.
Well, they have to, because, if you start up a power plant, a coal burning one, you can start easier. Well, no, you can't really. They take days to start and stop.
But if you think back, we heard about all those rolling outages.
And that's what that's what they would probably do in an effort to give the most control or comfort to the most people. But that's still going to put your temperature lower in the really cold weather.
And I understood from the rolling outages, the reason that TVA had to do that was one of their generating plants was offline, and it was kind of an unscheduled maintenance thing.
Well, I was going to say, for some reason, I thought they were having some regular maintenance done now in the last 6 months or a year.
They are. They're trying to update their lines. They sent me a little notice telling me that they would be going across my property to get to their right-of-way. And that they certainly hope that they didn't inconvenience me too much. And
you told them tickets were...
I just ignored it, as I do most things like that. They're going to come. What are you going to do?
At least they notified you. You can meet them out there with a shotgun.
I wouldn't.
Shotgun, but I got a deer rifle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't meet them with either one because they'd turn your power off.
Well, yeah.
By the way, if you want to join the fun, 256-737-9505. And staying on this same topic, although I did not attend the lunch planning meeting today, so this is all new to me. Which season do we consume more power in, summer or winter?
Oh. Do you know? I'm guessing.
I don't. I'm guessing summer.
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so, too.
I mean, I have a split-level house. Heat rises, so I don't care if it's 30 degrees outside. If the sun's out, I don't have to run my heat.
That's kind of the way our upstairs is.
I love it.
But it's interesting that so many people get caught either without air conditioning or without heat.
Well, has everybody had their heat pump or heater checked? You know, You know what I'm talking about? The seasonal
I mean, they
inspection.
They wish you would, because they like their recurring revenue.
Well, sure.
But I'm not sure that's the best thing to do.
I wonder
occasionally
if the
it's a good
revenue
idea.
is more from the checking, or if they wait and have to go repair it. Which way are they going to make more money?
Yeah.
That's cynicism.
Yeah,
they're going to get your money either way, aren't they, Howard?
They are. I called a guy to come out and do a plumbing thing on one of my mobiles that I have scattered around Coleman County. And he said, well, it'll be $194 starting out. I said, how do you know? He said, that's my service call.
For what?
For showing up?
Yeah, for showing up, basically for showing up and telling me what was wrong with my plumbing.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. You're familiar with my plumbing woes this summer.
Yeah, you've been haven't you?
Oh, I have, and it was not a pleasant experience.
He said $194, and I said, well, sir, many, many years ago I was a plumber. And before I'll pay you that, I'll go buy shovels and picks, and I'll start fixing it myself. He said, well, if that's what you want to do. And then I happened to think, I've got a plumber that lives on one of my properties.
There you go.
There you go. That's the...
And he said that the guy you called, I shared with him, I'm not going to give you a name, but he lives in Hansville. He said he's known for ripping people off.
Really?
He said the whole job there, he said, I'll come out and do it, and it'll cost you probably $150 total. That's parts and everything.
Well, if you've got time to shop it around and get proper estimates, good for you. Most of the time, it's, you
got to take who you can get.
Creating a geyser in your backyard, you got to do something.
And it does, too, I can promise you. Or under your house. This summer, I guess we had a lake under our house.
So I think maybe the thesis of this is you might want to check your plumbing and your electricity and everything else around your house on a regular basis.
That's it. And also make sure that if you've got any windows that don't close all the way or doors that have cracks, where you can see the sunlight, go ahead and find some weather stripping and do something to try. And
weather stripping is not really that expensive.
Nope.
Neither is throwing a towel down in your door crack.
Unless that crack is in the middle
or
at the top.
My wife found something that you slide on the bottom of the door.
I've seen those advertised,
and you feel absolutely no air coming in or going out. And I didn't believe that these sockets plugs would have that much air till I put a piece of sponge on mine.
Well, my younger brother came over and helped me, and we took the face plates off of all of them and filled it with foam.
Yeah, filled the back of it with foam.
And sure enough, it did. It will cut down some of, especially when you've got a lot of wind.
Yeah, that wind is rough.
Yeah, that same rabbit hole that I went down eventually wound up in a construction video, and they talked about the differences in construction between 1972 and now. Quite a few changes, and a lot of them would, how much insulation have you got in that wall, and how well protected is that wall, and et cetera, et cetera. And I know a lot of houses today are what we would call cheaper construction, not necessarily as well made.
2x4 is about 3/4 by 1.5.
So there's a lot of trade-off.
Well, it's different anyway. Well, yeah, and the house I live in, well, back when they were building those houses was the mid-50s, they really didn't use much overhead insulation.
No.
I mean, it was like
the video that I watched said
something.
Energy was free. It's not free anymore. But.
Well, it was more or less.
Unbelievable.
Well, anyway, we're not here to talk about my house.
Well, we can if you want to.
I don't mind having this conversation. I mean, my house was built in '96. I had been out of high school 1 year. I think I used to camp in my subdivision. Not going to tell you where it is. But the appliances in my house are original appliances to my house, and
wow,
they will outlive me. I am convinced. Whereas you buy an appliance today, what is planned obsolescence, right? It'll be dead in 3 years, right?
Well, you know, okay, speaking of that,
I'm in no hurry for new appliances.
we had a 1949, I believe, refrigerator that my dad bought, I guess for medical practice or whatever. But we brought it home and used it for, decades. And finally, my younger brother and I moved it to Birmingham when we were both in graduate school. And it was still operating on the original Freon and compressor and all of it. And that was in the 80s, late 80s.
Folks, what we're getting around to here is it's going to get cold.
Yeah.
Yes,
and you need to be prepared.
But I would also like to know what changed between then and now, aside from I know we used to make stuff in this country and apparently we don't anymore.
Greed.
But okay.
Well,
that's a good word to explain a lot.
Obsolescence, planned obsolescence was a big part of, which is related to greed.
Yeah, I guess they figured out if they make sure it dies in a couple of years, you got to buy another one. So.
Well, yeah, and that provides how many jobs? So it's not just greed in terms of making money, it's in terms of...
And they're cagey. A friend of mine worked for Colgate-Palmolive, and he said they were talking about toothpaste. He said it was when toothpaste just really became familiar. And he said everybody was saying, well, it's good, we're selling it, but we're not selling enough of it. And the question was asked, how can we sell more toothpaste? And he said this genius from the back of the room said, put a bigger hole in the front of the tube.
So more comes out. Yeah,
They're always trying to figure out a way to get you.
Have you noticed that when you put it on your brush, you end up with half of it in the sink? That's why.
Put a bigger hole in the end of the tube.
Well, and then they come out with all sorts of improvements that make it more expensive.
Oh, I'm afraid of improvements. They hurt me.
We're going to take a quick little break here. Y'all can join in the conversation, 256-737-9505. We are live and local, at least today. We'll be back in a minute with more of The Elephant in the Room.
Coleman Electric Cooperative's mission is to make life better in the communities we serve. That starts by providing reliable, affordable electricity, while our Sprout Fiber Internet service delivers blazing fast broadband internet to homes, schools, and businesses. Coleman Electric Cooperative is a proud supporter of student athletes, cheerleaders, and band members who work hard every day to make their families and community proud. Coleman Electric Cooperative and Sprout Fiber Internet, powerful connections, brighter future.
Hey, this is Tommy. You know, we couldn't do what we do here at Coleman Community Radio without our fine sponsors, and one of those is my friends at Nature's Effects Alternative Health and Wellness. Got 2 locations for you here in Coleman County, one in the city of Coleman next to Buena Vista on Highway 157, and the other in Hanceville. They're on Commercial Street, a couple of doors down from the pharmacy. The Hanceville location, when you walk in, you're going to feel like you're walking into Central Perk from Friends. It is so cool. They also have a coffee shop there. They serve breakfast and lunch in addition to the Nature's Effect Alternative Health and Wellness products there. All their products are sourced at their own farm too, and any of those products can be added to your coffees or your smoothies there in the morning at the Hanceville location. Also in Coleman on Highway 157 next to Buena Vista is Nature's Effect Alternative Health and Wellness. If you haven't given them a try, you might want to do so, either the Hanceville location or the Coleman location. It is Nature's Effect Alternative Health and Wellness, a proud supporter of Coleman Community Radio. Looking for a truly one-of-a-kind dining experience? You can discover The National, Coleman's local gym, where fresh Gulf seafood, locally sourced produce, and handcrafted cocktails come together to create a taste of excellence. From farm-to-table meals to cocktails made with care, every bite is a celebration of our community's flavors and craftsmanship. Savor the best of Coleman, only at The National, where local, fresh, and unforgettable meet. You can come for the food, stay for the experience. The National, open Wednesday through Sunday with brunch on Saturday and Sundays. The National, just fancy enough First Avenue downtown, next to Dutchess. Are you ready to make your next move in Coleman? Hi, I'm Tommy.
And I'm Angela. We're not just realtors, we're a family dedicated to helping yours.
We're not just about buying or selling property. We're about building connections within our community.
From local schools to charity events, we're active because we care about Coleman.
When you use us, you're not just getting one realtor, you're getting a team working around the clock for you.
With our experience and expertise, we'll guide you through every step of the process.
We're the Warhurst Team Realtors at Hagamore Realty Group.
We make it happen, you make it home.
And welcome back to the Elephant in the Room.
Yeah. Greetings.
We are
Good
back.
to have you back. We are back.
I don't think the show ever stopped.
I probably
No,
y'all
it
just
didn't.
kept
We
it
got
going.
a lot of
we
fun
kept
anyway.
going. Yeah. One of the things I think we fail to maybe recognize is the importance of having a plan during weather that could be potentially deadly.
Well, true. I mean, whether it's tornadoes or whatever it is. But when it's like it's going to be next week, first of all, everybody's going to be spending more time indoors. Right?
And you're going to need milk and bread, and you can get it now and save it till then.
Well, yeah, milk, bread, and what's the other? Eggs?
Eggs.
Is that the other one? Okay, but what do you get besides those?
Well, you just make yourself a milk sandwich and go for it. And I think that,
with the raw egg on
yeah,
it.
with a raw egg on. How about some stews or soups or something that maybe you could freeze?
That's important this time of year. Well, but then if your power goes out, which it might, maybe we need to have something to make sandwiches out of.
Sandwich? Maybe we need a blowtorch, too.
You can always fry stuff with a blowtorch, right?
Well, you can.
I'm not that good with a blowtorch.
But, yeah, be prepared for foodstuffs that you can fix without heat.
Right. And
maybe without water.
Well, I was going to say, probably having some bottled water, whether it's you fill up a pitcher and put it in the refrigerator or whatever, because you just don't know when your pipes might freeze. Oh, God, I hope not. That's expensive. Don't let that happen.
And I can assure you that leaving your faucets dripping will cost money, but it will not cost as much as a plumbing bill.
Well, that's true. And if you really are afraid of freezing pipes, you can always go out and turn the water off at the meter.
Yeah.
I learned how to do that.
Man, it is. And I think Lowe's used to have them. They had these little handles that you can turn the meter off and on.
Mary Carter does
Mary
have
Carter
them.
has them. So go buy. Otherwise, you're going to be crawling down there with a pair of wire pliers or vice grips or something trying to turn
grips.
it, and it's not that easy.
No, and then you have to use another pair of pliers to turn them.
Hey,
I know about that.
Hey,
too.
Jeff Young, have you got those in stock, meter wrenches?
All
Yeah.
right, so
They do. I know because I was looking for one.
my question behind that, what is the physics behind that? Why does leaving your water dripping save your water pipes from burning? I've heard moving water has a more difficult time freezing.
That's it.
That's true.
But there's water that flows down my gutter that if it's below about 30, it's frozen.
Yeah, but it doesn't have force behind it.
Well, and in addition, the water coming into your sink comes from underground where it's 55 degrees.
Okay.
And if you've got it, even if it's just dripping, you're not getting icy water. I mean, it'll be cold because I can attest to that too. Yeah, I know a lot about plumbing and water, a lot more than I wanted to know.
Is it better to drip your cold side or your hot side?
Supposedly your hot side, but that's even more expensive.
And I have learned this, not that I choose to share how or why, but hot will freeze first. Why does that happen?
Because I believe it's because the excitation of the molecules causes them all to come into contact with the surfaces more frequently, and therefore they cool frequently.
And the reason you want your hot to go is because that makes sure the water comes in out of the outside part, because it comes in one pipe and it's going to go to the hot water heater so it can feed the places that need hot water. Otherwise, the only thing you're going to make sure doesn't freeze is the cold water side.
All right, so next question. If you are dripping your hot water when you're ready to take a shower tomorrow, you're going to have hot water?
No. Maybe not. I don't know.
That depends on the recovery, and it also depends on
the size of your heater.
Size of your heater, and whether or not you want to go down and lower the temperature on it.
Well, I've learned a lot tonight, and I'm not even on the internet.
I mean, that's one thing that people need to look at. Every time you turn your hot water on, you just burn your hands because it's so hot. Go turn the hot water heater temperature down. And especially if there's just two people in the house, you don't need it at 280 degrees.
No, you better not have it that high because it'll
really
boil. It'll blow your
exaggeration.
It'll blow your hot water heater through the ceiling.
But you don't need all that hot water. Save some electricity. But leave your hot water side dripping.
Okay, those are important things. Mm-hmm. But if we're inside more, we're going to be around more people more closely. So what happens this time of year? Flu season.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that what causes us to die of carbon dioxide poisoning?
Not flu. No, that's
being around so many people expelling carbon dioxide.
And let me go one more point. In the daytime, there's no reason to let the water drip. If you'll go by every now and then, just turn it on for 30 seconds or so. Or walk by and flush a commode. Just do something during the day because you don't want it dripping all day long when you can control.
No, you're right. Especially since you're using more water during the daytime. But, okay, you have flu season. You have a lot more colds, pneumonia.
And I'm guessing that we really need to pay attention to this show next week because it's supposed to drop and remain below freezing for like 3 or 4 days, like we did a year or two ago.
If it's below freezing, there won't be a show next week.
That's true.
Yeah, that's questionable at this point.
And one of the things.
You don't think you
during cold and flu season, be proactive. Get yourself a quart of Germ-X. Before you get out of your vehicle, put Germ-X on your hands, on your lip, put it under your nostrils, put it everywhere that you have bared skin. And then when you get back in your vehicle from wherever you went, I don't care if it was your mom's house, Walmart, wherever.
Because you're not just exposed to them, you're exposed to everybody they were exposed to.
And everybody that was exposed to their doorknob.
That's it. But here's the thing. I found out from COVID-19, I was wearing a mask all the time when I went somewhere, that I really liked not getting sick. I didn't have a cold or flu or anything for those 2 years or more, 3 years. And so right now, the COVID and flu and all are really ramping up. So,
and I'll be using about a quart of Germ-X a month.
So what I do is if I'm going somewhere, I will use my mask. Sorry. That's just common sense. And I know that a lot of people don't because I shop and live around here too. And I'm usually the only one wearing a mask in the grocery store.
Well, your choice.
Like I said, I enjoy not being sick and having to go to the doctor and having those expenses. And
it doesn't take too many people in Walmart spit them in the air through their sneezing and their coughing.
And I suggest everybody get their vaccinations because I have a feeling 90% of the people in Coleman County have had the COVID-19.
If you've
I said, yeah, I think it's higher than that, but that's a guess anyway, trying to be on the low side. The reason that's important is that it really does a job on your immune system. And that's long term. That's not just while you're sick.
It doesn't seem to be transient. I mean, it's with us.
Right. So even things that wouldn't bother you as much, all of a sudden now you get sick and get sicker because of them. So like you were saying, use your hand sanitizer liberally, and wear a mask if you're going to be in. Well, I don't know about church, but that would. I mean, there's.
I don't think people go sick. You don't think sick people go to church?
No, but what I'm saying is that, that socially that would not be nearly as acceptable. But there's hundreds of people, depending on the size of church you go to, and especially if you have singing, that spews all that stuff all over the place. So anyway, I just suggest people wear their masks and get their vaccinations.
Yeah. Well, and it changes the way you do church, or at least it did for the church that I'm at. We passed the peace without touching.
Right.
Peace be with you. You don't have to shake hands, and we didn't during COVID. We did not shake hands.
Well, that's when the fist bump became a lot more popular, put it that way.
I suggested using an elbow that was covered.
No, that makes sense, too.
And everybody go to the back table, the visitor's table, and use the Germ-X.
On your elbow?
on your elbow, your hand, your face, because some people are going to shake hands with you.
I know, and I was thoroughly trained to shake hands and, all of those friendly gestures.
Yeah, and you've seen my little door thing with people shaking hands in the slash. We don't shake hands.
You don't know shaking hands.
And the other thing that changed was the way we did communion.
Oh yeah, no more communal cup, is there?
No more communal cup. Well, there will never be a communal cup in the church where I am. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you're not much for germs, are you?
No. But we've always used the little plastic things, but it was set up in a row so you made sure you didn't touch any others. Didn't come from the tray. And the bread, instead of being broken and you pull it off, the lady in the back with gloves cut the bread into little cubes and put toothpicks in each little individual square.
Wow.
We still serve communion, but we were very clean with it. And, we haven't changed that.
Well, but that makes sense. I mean, we've just lost our awareness of infection and how much it really can cause problems.
And I think in the book of Leviticus, that would have been an approved method of doing communion.
I am not a biblical scholar.
Well, that's the book where they tell you all the do's and don'ts and cleanliness and all of that.
Okay. Yeah, I got to the 10 Commandments, and I try real hard with those, but you go much past there, and it's out of my league.
Well, the interpretive, we don't want to get involved in that.
No, I don't think we do. Okay, what else? We want to have automobiles that work.
You want to have automobiles that work, and you want to make sure that you've got air in your tires, gas in your tank,
there
water
you go.
in the radiator, and
not
sure
water.
There's antifreeze
there
in
you go.
the water.
That's what I was going to say. If you haven't had it checked, check your antifreeze. If it's not good for 0 or colder, don't do with it.
At least 0. Most places that change your oil now will check all that for you.
Yeah.
So if it's going to get really cold. And the other thing you have to look at is cold weather will mess with the air in your tires.
Yeah, every time the temperature drops more than about 10 or 15 degrees, my check air pressure light comes on. And that is not fun because it does that whether it's at 28 pounds or 20 pounds or whether it's at 5 pounds.
It doesn't matter.
And it makes a big difference in how you can drive. That's it. So that's okay. All of those things are important. And if you're traveling somewhere, make sure you get some cat litter and put it in the back of your car.
Yeah, because you may get stuck.
If you get stuck or you get caught around some ice, that will allow you to have some traction.
Why would you be out traveling in weather like that?
I don't know. Some people are going to do anything. When I was a kid growing up here, all you had to do was once it started snowing or there was a little bit of ice, you'd see everybody out on the roads trying to do wheelies or whatever, donuts, and just so they could experience that sliding around, I guess. That's not a good idea.
No, it's not. Ask Blake West.
Yeah, he had a serious accident, and we're sorry that happened to him.
And we wish you the best, Blake.
You think he listens to us?
Well, I shouldn't have said anything about it.
Well, anyway, if he does, Blake, we're hoping you do better.
Yeah. I remember we would hook the mule up. Okay, now, folks, this is not an exaggeration. I promise you, this is exactly the way it was. We had we had a sled. Now, the purpose of the sled was to put heavy sacks of cotton on and drag them from one part of the field to the other one.
A sledge, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would hook a mule up to that, and we'd get on it, and we'd ride up and down the hills over the fields. There seemed to be a lot more snow then than there is now.
Well, I can just see you running up under that mule. I don't think you'd do that but once.
No. But it was interesting. A lot of snow, but there's a lot of preparation that needs to be taken before the snow gets here if you have the ability.
Well, and we're running out of time if we have snow.
Yeah, they still can't decide what day or what type. I mean, the last forecast I saw is we might not get anything in North Alabama.
Yeah.
And South Alabama is going to be under a massive ice storm.
Yeah, that's
well, better them than us. That's all I can say about that. I have been through more than one here and other places, and somebody else can have them.
Now let me share with you the importance of being prepared. I have seen these terracotta plant pots that have been converted into little heaters, and I was going to put one of those up on the show today. Now, I'm not real mechanical. I'm not real foresighted on what to do with raw materials. So I thought we could do that. So I'll just run myself right on down by the hardware store. Call Jeff Young. He said, no, we don't have those. And he sent me to his favorite store, which I don't happen to like. So I went to my favorite store, which I really don't like, but it's the best one in Coleman. It's owned by Alabama folks. So,
well, that's always good, yeah.
So I went in there, and this young lady was over in the plants and other things. Looked like she was getting ready for spring. I said, I bet you can help me. She said, well, I will try. To which I said, I either need a clay pot or something of that nature. She said, oh, yes, we have them right outside. Okay, let's go look. So I went out there, and she asked me what I was going to do with it. And I said, I'm going to take this bigger pot, and I'm going to take this smaller pot, and I'm going to put it through the hole in the bottom of the pot. She said, well, that may be a problem. There's no hole in the bottom of the pot. But she said there's a soft spot there. If you'll soak it for about an hour in water, you can bore it out. And then you can do whatever you want to do with it. And I said, well, I don't have an hour, and I don't have a drill, and I don't have a pot of water.
And the interest is even less than that, right?
She's ready to sell you one, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the bigger pot, now, folks, if you want to do this, I would suggest you look on the Internet at using clay pots to build a heat source. But it's not going to be cheap because a big pot's going to cost you about $20, and you need that on the top side, and about $12 for a little one that fits in it, and then you're going to need bolts and washers and nuts, and then you're going to need a base to set it on. So it's probably going to cost you about $50 to make that little heat source.
Every bit of it, and that's if you can find all the materials in the right size the first time.
Yeah. Well, there's several stores that I won't mention because they're not paying us, and number two, I don't particularly like them because they're a large corporation.
Well, there's a lot of that going around. Okay, so we've talked about automobiles and illness basically, and masking and vaccinations.
There ain't no shame to wearing a mask.
No, especially with the RSV and the pneumonia. Bacterial pneumonia is bad. And that's what a cold will turn into if it doesn't get better.
Now, question: where would you go if you got sick? Now, I have probably
depends on whether you can get out and the roads are passable.
I've got probably the best doctor, arguably, in Coleman. You probably know who it is.
Yeah.
And he doesn't particularly endorse coming to his office if you're sick or having an emergency, because he's not equipped to handle it.
Well, and if you're coming to his office because you're sick, there's probably 50 other people in that particular waiting room for the same reason. And what does that do? If you have RSV and this other person has the flu and somebody else has COVID-19 and you're all mixing germs, that's what you end up happening, and it's
I think that's
deadly or can be.
Plus, he's already scheduled to the nth degree. So do you have you have nurse practitioners propping up all over everywhere, and I've never had a bad experience with a nurse practitioner.
No, I was going to say the two are same. We go to the same general clinic. The two that I have there are very competent and very good.
There's two in West Point.
Okay.
So look around and see if there are nurse practitioners, and as Richard and I both will tell you, we've never had a bad experience with a nurse practitioner.
Nope.
And if you need serious treatment, they'll get to help before you can.
And if it is truly an emergency, they will make sure that you get to emergency care as needed. So that's another important thing.
Know where you can go.
And if you're sick and you're at home and you've got 4 other family members, try not to let all of them come and hug on you and do all of those sorts of things, because all you're doing is spreading that to them too. And that's not fun.
And you folks out there kissing babies in the mouth,
don't
stop it.
Don't, especially if they go to school, preschool or nursery school. I don't know what they call it now, pre-K maybe.
Who knows? They'll change it next
year. Every possible disease is running rampant in those. I mean, that's what kids do. They spread germs.
Because they run up and down the hallways coughing and patting and hugging.
And they're always with these other kids. And the kids are, they share all sorts of stuff. Food, and a lot of things that I don't even like to think about. But
all 3 of my great-grandkids have been out of school this year because of flu or some type of, I guess, bacteriological disease.
Well, it could be, or it could be viral.
Yeah. I'd rather they get the bacteriological. There's better treatment for that.
Well, if you have a virus, which like the COVID-19 or the flu, being on an antibiotic is not doing anything but making that
money for pharmaceuticals.
Well, and making the medication less effective for other people.
Yeah.
So
be prepared. It may come, it may not. Stay weather aware.
Oh, and this time of year, with the shorter days, the dreary, cloudy days and stuff, and a lot of people have seasonal depression. There's a lot of imbibing of alcohol.
Yeah.
That will not warm you up. It does the opposite. It cools you off.
It chills you. It also makes you a little less steady, so a little patch of ice that ordinarily would not have been a problem.
You'll look like one of those characters in a cartoon with your arms flapping around.
And you may or may not be where someone can see you. You may or may not break a hip. There is not a good outcome between ice and whiskey.
Nope. And driving is even worse.
Yeah.
And that, those are things that I know you shouldn't do anyway, but especially this time of year, because it does not warm you up. You go out and you're shoveling whatever, or you've been out in the cold for a while. When you go home, having a drink will not warm you up.
Nope.
It seems like it does, and if you wanted a drink, maybe that's what you wanted anyway. Don't kid yourself.
And a public service announcement that's probably about an hour late, but people were griping about nobody doing anything about speeders on 157 up here down this stretch of the road.
Yeah.
The Cullman Police Department took them for their word. There was 3 cars up there with radar and riding them as fast as they could get them. So
there's a lot of that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cullman Police Department, thanks. If you got a ticket, you deserved it.
And the other thing is when you roll your window down to show them your driver's license and your insurance papers, they will smell whatever you've been imbibing.
And I'm totally in support of them doing that.
Well, all you would have to do is see the results of an accident that involved that, and it would not take long for you to decide, if you're going to do that, stay home.
Yep.
Find somebody to drive you around. Don't put other people and yourself at risk.
True. Especially me.
Or me. So stay out of my yard if you have
Prepare yourself for the cold weather. It may come, it may not. But she is here.
Is she?
She is. I saw her.
Wow.
Yep. There's a show after y'all tonight.
Well, Sandy is here.
Sandy.
Have a good weekend. Be safe. Be secure.
And stay warm.
Stay warm.
Thanks, y'all.
See you next week.